Hey y'all, and welcome to the MrMaple Show. Today we're going to bring you Japanese maples in spring color at Flora Farm in Gaston, Oregon. So get excited.
There's some beautiful specimens here. I'm Matt. We absolutely love talking about Japanese maples. If you love that kind of thing, make sure to subscribe here on the MrMaple Show. Guys, we're looking at Lillian's Jewel, one of our all-time favorite Japanese maples here at MrMaple. It is such a showstopper. That pink on red variegation, maybe the most stable of any of that pink on red style. Introduction by our friend Jonathan Savlich, named for his daughter Lillian. This one really brings the high drama, guys. I absolutely love it. One of the more interesting plants. They want to cut out any all dark red you get on this one to accentuate the pink and red, but it really is a great grower that stays variegated and has strong variegation to it.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most stable red on pink variegated Japanese maples I've ever seen. And Jonathan Savlich named this after his daughter. On one of our visits, we actually got to meet Lillian, and she was, this cute little girl running around. I'm sure she's in her 20s now, because that was years ago. But Matt and I did everything we could to be one of the first people to be able to offer Lillian's Jewel. And Dale Lauk's nursery, Dale Lauk was his grandpa, introduced so many amazing selections. And Dale really took Jonathan under his wing and taught him how to get Lillian's Jewel and get it so stable. And I'm telling you, that experience really paid off. That's one of the most beautiful pink and red Japanese maples that just adds that extra flair out there in the garden.
Good durability to that one too.
Guys, coming up right here, we've got Acer palmatum Amagi shiguri. It is just a beautiful reticulated Japanese maple.
So much color to this one. Think of it as like a different color, but dwarfer version of purple ghost. So 6 to 8 foot in 10 years. Great coloration to it, reticulated veining to each leaf, and just a real showstopper. This one's getting a lot of sun, so it gets a little bit more bold red in it early. You'll see some more of that reticulation peeking through.
Now, you can play with the amount of sunlight you give Amagi shiguri to give it. If you put it in more shade, you can get some metallic-y kind of silver kind of colors to it, which are really strong and beautiful. But the color on many of the reticulated styles can change each and every year. And on some years in Amagi shiguri, you can get a lavender color that is one of the best shades of lavender I've ever seen on a Japanese maple. One thing you'll note too about Amagi shiguri is it has a little bit smaller of a stature. And part of that is because of its semi-pendulous habit. You'll notice how it's upright overall, but a lot of the side branches arch downward a little bit on the sides. And that gives it a sort of soft appearance to a mid-sized tree, a small to mid-sized tree out there in the garden. Easy to use and just adds unique color that you don't get on many other trees. Right here on the background, that is a big Acer platanoides a Maltese cross. That's a Norway maple that's got a deeply divided leaf.
Here we've got Acer palmatum Saiho. This is one of the smallest leaf Japanese maples. I absolutely love this one. Very popular for bonsai because of that small leaf as well. With the pinchback method, this one can get even smaller foliage. Leaves out with a bit of a purple border. But unlike many of the toadstool kiyohime types, this one tries to get more of a globe shape. So it rounds out a little bit, puts on a lot of density from within. That's another reason why it's very popular for bonsai, because it continues to structurally have a lot of growth. So you got a lot to work with if you're shaping this one.
Now, this was actually one of our very first videos here on the MrMaple Show. You can go back and check it out and see me in my early 20s. It's called Saiho, the Ultimate Bonsai Japanese Maple. It's a tree that we were really excited about to be one of the first people to offer because of its dense, compact form, but it's vigorous at an early age, which makes it a perfect dwarf for many gardens. We've had the benefit for years to be able to have a lot of good friends who speak Japanese, and one of those people has been very influential in the plant world is Barry Yinger. And Barry actually told me that Saiho translates as paradise. So this particular Japanese maple, the name actually translates as paradise. So cool with that small leaf, that compact habit. It's really beautiful. Now, it has small leaves right now in the spring, but the summer flush can have even smaller leaves on that summer flush, making it excellent for some of those methods where you remove the leaves and allow them to flush back out for bonsai.
Here we have Acer Japonicum jutan. Now, the original name on this was Woods number 1. You've seen Woods number 2 in the trade. Talon obtained Woods number 1 from Ed Wood and got it out in the trade. So this became the original jutan. Beautiful introduction. I love this one. Low spreading Japonicum. Really a small stature to this one. Great fall color. Now, early spring, you get those red tassel flowers you're seeing there on that light green with a very dissected Japonicum leaf. It's one of the more flatter styles of any of the Acer Japonicums that are weeping. This one really is more low and spreading, and it keeps a very low profile for height, but it can put on a good bit of width.
And the name Ao Jutan actually translates as blue-green, which is Ao, and Jutan, which is weeping. And that's because of that low profile that Matt was talking about. Just stays short and gets that nice width to it, making it easy to use in the landscape and garden. Now, Ao Jutan is going to go to some really nice yellows, oranges, and reds in the fall, but that deeply divided leaf and that shorter stature, really that shorter stature and wide habit really makes Ao Jutan stand out from things like Green Cascade and Oregon Fern, which will mound up at a much higher rate.
Think of this one almost as the emerald lace of the Acer Japonicums, low and wide.
Now here we've got Acer palmatum, Aoyagi, gawa.
Cool one, guys. This one has really thin foliage, kind of that in-between fairy hair and something like Scoliopendiflorum, so it's a little bit smaller, kind of thinner, reaching out look to it. Very dense in its structure as well.
And it really has some yellow-green color. It's not as yellow as yellow threads. I think yellow threads may be the most yellow of any of the lunar lobum styles. But this one, it's maybe a little more yellow-green than something like Koto no Ito. It is really beautiful, and it's one that you don't find as much in the nursery trade. Aoyagi gawa is a tree that was really introduced to me by Talon Buchholz. I hadn't seen this much in the trade before that. It is in Yano's book for maples, though. And Aoyagi gawa just is really nice in that green color. Aoyagi plays off that color green. We may know that cultivar from the cultivar Aoyagi, may know that name, but the Aoyagi gawa just is one that's special in that lunar lobum habit. Small stature, 8 foot in height and width in 10 years. Easy to grow. Guys, this thing just gives you some really nice textures with that long bamboo-like leaf.
I love those lunar lobums. Very, very graceful look to them in the garden. I say this every time I talk about them, but they kind of give me that Asian gardening aesthetic. I almost hear wind chimes with these. Like, they're just very relaxing.
And that one has a huge flower set on it. I'd be real interested in looking through some of those seeds. I mean, that's one of the things I love about being able to check out all these cool, awesome varieties.
That white dogwood right there is Summer Fun by Talon Buchholz.
And here's one of Talon's more popular introductions, Acer palmatum, Geisha gone wild.
Beautiful coloration here. This is a sport off of Geisha. This particular one's exhibiting a lot of Geisha-like habit. You'll still get some green swirl, or some of that green swirl underneath it. A lot of Geisha going on this one. Beautiful. You'll get more and more as the season emerges of that darker coloration in this specific tree, which isn't uncommon for it to have a mix of both.
I mean, in the pink time, it's almost just that cotton candy pink. And there's not many trees that can give you that much pink out there in the landscape. So one of the reasons this is one of my favorite trees, and it's actually one of my wife's favorite trees as well, because she just loves seeing that pink color in that spring garden.
6 to 8 foot in 10 years. Very sun tolerant for a bright pink as well. Surprisingly sun tolerant and durable for as bright colored as this.
Geisha gone wild was, like Matt mentioned, is a sport on the cultivar Geisha, but Geisha's more shrub-like habit. Geisha gone wild makes more of a tree shape and is more sun tolerant than Geisha was. And I think it's because it gets some more of that red in the leaves, which allows it to produce more food for the tree rather than the pink, which is the variegation, which often doesn't provide, a lot of benefits to the tree itself. This is such a nice specimen to put out there in the landscape. Pair that out there in the garden with Summer Gold, and it's just going to rock it out.
Here we have Acer palmatum Jet Black.
Now, Jet Black is a selection by Talon Buchholz that has a deeper, darker foliage color to it. More in that maroon, but some of that darker maroon color to it. We're seeing it here in the early spring, and those darker maroons come more and more during that summer time frame.
Very heat tolerant as well. We're really enjoying this one we're going to continue to produce a lot of.
Jet Black is possibly one of the darkest selections by Talon, and he's introduced, I'd say this is kind of his version of like a Moonfire or an Emperor One, and we're got this in production. We're working on making this tree more and more available. It is one that we haven't had in numbers enough, because often when we listed it on Mr. Maple, it sold out fairly fast. Now, if any of these trees we're talking about are currently sold out on Mr. Maple, you can go to that Cultivars page on Mr. Maple and type notify me and click notify me and then type in your email address, and we'll email you when these trees become available again. Jet Black, though, this is one that we can't produce enough of, and it really is going to be a classic in the trade.
Now, here's a great one. This one's an oldie but a goodie. We've been to Kobayashi Momiji in Japan. This is Ryusei. Talon always lists this one as Ryusei. Same tree as Ryusen. He had it pre-patent, so he had it from Japan as Ryusei. You'll see it sold often in Japan that way as Ryusei. Ryusen, though, or Ryusei, however you want to call it, beautiful heat-tolerant green with a great weeping form. Tend to stake this one up to about 5 to 6 feet and let it kind of cascade down from there. If you don't, you can grow it a little bit more as a ground cover. I'm always impressed by this one's durability. You can put it out in a heavy sun situation. Had a friend who's in almost Nashville area, and he was looking for a weeping green for his front yard, and I was like, dude, Ryusen's what you need. That thing's bulletproof. You're going to enjoy this one in the landscape, and really doesn't skip a beat in some really high locations. Kind of has a lot of that durability that you see with just a straight Acer palmatum, subspecies palmatum, but in a weeping shape.
This particular one's been staked up and have that fountain-like habit. I have seen Ryusen been used as a ground cover before, where you don't stake it and you just let it crawl across the ground. And that is another unique way to grow Ryusen out there in the landscape and garden.
Now here we have Acer palmatum Shaina. This is a broom that was introduced by Red Maple Nurseries, named for Billy Short's daughter, Shaina. He was Dick Wolf's apprentice there at Red Maple Nurseries. If you haven't already, go check out the Billy Short's Experience. I always plug that podcast because it's one of my favorite ones we've done. He's a real fun character and just a great friend. We had him on the podcast, and it's a can't miss episode if you like this kind of content.
Now, the original Shaina is at the University of Villanova. It's a witch's broom that was found in a Japanese maple there at the Department of Public Safety. Matt and I went and visited it before, and it just has like this clustered-like growth. It looks like a squirrel's nest in the original tree. And by taking a cutting off of that squirrel's nest-like growth, they've got a compact form that you can grow out there in the garden. Now, Shaina is Hebrew for the name for his Billy Schwartz's daughter. His name is, which translates as beautiful. And this tree is made it worldwide. It is a really compact red Japanese maple. It's great for containers and small places in the garden.
Really a fun one. Very durable. I know Dr. Creech down at Stephen F. Austin says it's the ultimate Japanese maple for Texas. He really likes that one for the small area garden for a dense red that takes a lot of heat. It's a good choice.
Now, on your right, you're going to see a little bit of whistle saguaro. That is a really cool conifer grafted on disease-resistant rootstock. But in the distance, you see that yellow. You know I love the color yellow. That's Acer platanoides, Princeton's Gold.
Yeah, this is a fun one. One of my favorite Acer platanoides. Very colorful. I like that it's a big yellow. Like, there's a lot of yellows, but they don't get gigantic like this. This one's one of those trees you could use as a shade tree. You can get up under it. You really see this almost like as a park tree, right? You got to have some space for this one. But you see what kind of beautiful shade this can provide in the landscape if you have some room for it. And it can give you a crazy, intense yellow color that just really brightens up the whole yard. I love that off play with the blue sky and the yellow there. Just absolutely beautiful.
If you're going to have a big tree in your garden that's going to provide shade, why not make a statement? And I think that's what Princeton Gold does. You get that beacon of yellow color out there in the garden with those big, gorgeous Norway maple leaves, just with that bright yellow color.
I love it. It's beautiful. And I like getting up close and looking at the foliage. This one's one that's beautiful whether you're far away or up close. You get that almost buttery yellow glow to it, which is really nice as well. And just a great tree. I mean, if you're planting Norways, you might as well get something exciting.
Now, sunlight really intensifies the colors. You'll notice some of the leaves on the understory are a little more lime green. Where the sunlight hits will actually brighten that up to a bright yellow. So make sure you plant your Princeton Gold in a more sunlight condition to get that just golden yellow color that Princeton Gold's known for.
Absolutely beautiful, guys. We did a full cultivar breakdown on this one where we explain it in detail. So definitely check that out on the Mr. Maple Show here as well.
Now, here at Mr. Maple, we've been offering Princeton Gold in 6 gallons, but we've also been offering some of the Truncatum X platanoides hybrids that are deep maroon.
Great pairing.
Great pairings with Acer platanoides Princeton Gold.
Now, here we have a fun one. This is a Mr. Maple introduction that came via our customer, Laddie Munger, in the Raleigh area. These are some gold diggers. So Acer palmatum gold digger. I love this one in the early spring for that pink flush. You can kind of really see it. Almost looks variegated on these plants. Not a variegated tree. They just put on so much pink. Like from a distance, you think this might be a Larian or something, but it's got that yellow bark.
Yeah, the yellow bark is really what this is known for. It is a winter interest tree where you get some of that pale yellow to orange on the new growth. And that coral pink spring color, though, is pretty spectacular. You don't get that on any of those selections.
I love what Talon's done there with a mass planting for bark interest. Guys, if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe here on the Mr. Maple Show. You can also support us by shopping on MrMaple.com.
Take care
God bless.
and have a great day.